Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's have another look at a round of Transcendent forms. And then this time, let's look at Brahma first. And yeah, this guy is kind of funny because actually he didn't change that much. But somehow he got way better. He kind of mixed his evolution and his ascension form. So he has the null warp and then the wood resistance together. But he does pick up a null, or he picks up the Wood Slayer. That's kind of the biggest addition to this version of the character. So yeah, he's basically made for wood quests, and he does fine, of course, in quests with warps. But he's such a specialist for wood quests, would be worth taking him to places with damage walls or gravity barriers as well. And then looking at his stats, they're pretty solid overall. His attack, it will go up to 30,000 with the gauge, and then the Wood Slayer will go on top of that, so that's pretty crazy damage there. And yeah, actually I feel like more and more of Himiko's territory is being sort of taken. I think the first step to that was when Shizuka Gozen got the upgrade to her X laser, and then here with Brahma, you know, a lot of people would take Himiko to warp quests in order to get the advantage there. But now this guy is going to take over that slot, I think. So little by little, Himiko's territory has been taken over, I think. Next, we'll look at the bump combo. First, he's got the spread Pierstruction, and this is actually a pretty strong bump combo. The thing is that the damage is not concentrated at all, unless you're right next to a guy. So yeah, not a great bump combo for damage, but in certain cases where you need to set off certain characters' counterattack, some enemies' counterattack, this can be really good since it covers a good portion of the screen. And then the other bump combo he has is the Blast Bump, and this is terrific, of course, for support. And then if your other characters have strong bump combos, this is really good. And then finally, the Strike Shot. It's the Explode on first contact, and this is very powerful for him, and the Wood Slayer goes into that as well, so of course more damage into wood characters. And yeah, he has the 20 turn version as well. That charges up pretty quickly. The 28 though is very, very powerful. Okay, so that is Brahma, and yeah, if you did want to check out what missions he would be good for, you could check out the video called the May 1st Transcension or Transcendent Overview, I think it's called. Okay, next let's look at Lancelot X, and then this guy might be the most interesting of all of the guys we're looking at today, since he is a limited character, only available in the Fire Hatcher, which does not come around too often. But anyway, yes, here is Lancelot X. And I always felt that this guy would be great, or rather, the moment that I heard about Transcendent forms, I thought, oh, for Lancelot X, all they have to do is change his one-way laser to a lock-on one-way laser, and he'll be awesome. And that's exactly what they did, but they gave him a bunch of other stuff as well, which just makes him crazy. Very much worth being a limited monster. But yeah, stats are solid, HP and attack. Speed is very good for a bounce type. And then he has the null gravity barrier as before, with recovery on the gauge. But he picks up a Dark Slayer, which is pretty amazing. And this makes him better, of course, for dark quests. So this kind of increases his versatility. As I mentioned before, the bump combo is the lock-on one-way laser. And that's at full power, so that's 24,000. So that makes him a really good damage source, easy to use as well. And then also makes him good for easy quests, like Dragon Gems or things like that. And then the other bump combo is the Energy Circle M. And that's a pretty solid source of damage as well. And that can help him be more useful in quests with laser barriers, and there are a few of those. So yeah, very, very good bump combo. And then the thing about the Ascension version is that the Lancelot had recovery and the one-way laser, and those two abilities did not go well together at all, because with the one-way laser you needed to stay at the bottom of the screen, but to use the recovery you need to move around and then hit your teammates, So those two things were directly in conflict. But with the new lock-on one-way laser, Lancelot can be anywhere and then use his laser successfully. So yeah, that's a great upgrade there. And then his strike shot, it used to be the becomes a pure strike shot, but now it's the one that is the same as Gabriel, which is insane. He becomes a pierce type and then he gains null everything. And so, yeah, pretty much any situation he is in, except where there are anti-pierce guys, he will be able to move around freely and then do good damage on the boss. So yeah, pretty darn good. He does only have the one null ability, but all of his other abilities make him worth bringing to quests with other gimmicks. Okay, so those were the two characters that we will look at in depth today. And I'm also going to bring a Hanzo, which I talked about in a previous video. And then yes, we will take them into Kushinada. And yeah, Kushinada should not be a challenge anymore with a team this strong. And then to talk real quick about Hanzo, he is a bounce with no gravity barrier and no warp. Two strong bump combos, a super slice and dice and a pierce homing shot. And then the strike shot where he gains immunity to mines and damage walls, and also gets a speed up, and then also protects himself from damage either 1 or 5 turns, depending on which tier we use. So yeah, all of these characters are pretty good for Kushinada. When I play it, I prefer null warp over null gravity barrier. So I might have a little bit of trouble with Lancelot X only having null gravity barrier. But his bump combo is such that he can be anywhere, and then if we just hit him, then that'll be good enough. But yeah, this team, I'm focused more on just getting out bump combos. When I'm using weaker characters, like some extreme max lux or something, then I have to kind of think out my shots every shot, but not with this team. And yeah, Brahma having the blast bomb combo is very nice, since he can get out the other people's bump combos pretty well. And yeah, Hanzo's slice and dice is the bump combo that gets the most attention, but his homing is pretty darn good too, so... Alright, so this is one of those classic zombie loops, where we want to take down both of the zombies in one turn. And yeah, with all of these homing bump combos, it's pretty easy. Of all of these characters, I'm actually probably the most excited about Brahma, actually. There are not a lot of elemental slayers, and then he might be the first, or one of the first, with null warp. So that's a very cool niche that he is filling. And yeah, this has always kind of been a thing, but as the game progresses from now, we're going to see more missions where it's not as necessary to bring characters with the null gimmicks. Especially in the case of slayers, or people with strong bump combos. We can go ahead and bring people without the null gimmicks, because we'll still know that they'll be a good source of damage. Okay, Brahma picked up the poison there. We're going to wait until the heart turns golden, so that we can heal that poison, and then also heal everybody. Cure the poison and heal everybody, that's right. Alright, there's that Slayer. Okay, and then last stage before the boss sequence. Let's get out some bump combos. I remember when Hanzo came out in the JP game. People were very interested in him because he doesn't really look like a lot of the other Monster Strike characters. He's got a very kind of a mechanical, futuristic look, while many of the other characters look sort of kind of historical or more traditional. But yeah, lots of people really do like the design of him. And some people are hoping that when they do the Transcendent forms for Sizel, and then who's the other one? The Dark character, the Pierce, Null Damage Roll, Null Warp? Don't remember her name right now. But if and when they do the Transcendent form of them, hopefully they'll get that same treatment, is what they're saying there. Okay, so for no real reason at all, I used the 1P Hanzo's Strike Shot. So we saw he got the speed up, and then he has that barrier around him which will block all damage for 5 turns from when he uses it. Unfortunately, he's not in a position to be hit by any attacks, but so this first stage and then the second stage a little bit. There are the gravity barriers, so Brahma will be a little bit less effective than usual. But the last stage there are only warps, so that is where he will really shine. Okay, second to last stage. And actually, this 2-hour window where I recorded this video, I finished my second max luck of Kushinada. And then for this one, I boosted her HP and her attack, but not her speed, because I was intending on using it for Yamato Takeru Zero. In that stage, there are speed bombs, and then Kushinada's speed when you buff it is over 400, and so she takes big damage in that stage from that attack. But without the speed, her speed's only like 320, 330, so she cuts a good amount, more than half, I think, of the damage from that speed bomb. So yeah, I got her up to about 80, and then, unfortunately, the game was announced to be, the service was going to be terminated. But today the quest came around, I had some free time, so I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll go ahead and finish. So yeah, I finished that today, and yeah, that is my second Kushinada max luck. And then especially with these characters, or Ryoma, or Smopel especially, the mission became a lot easier, so it was next to nothing really to make the second. But yeah, after I played this video, I moved to a 2 Izanami 2 Hanzo team. And that was pretty darn easy. Hanzo is not to be underrated. Okay, last stage. Here it's a race against time. We need to take down the boss by the time that 17 turn count comes down, because that is when the boss's ultimate attack is going to come out. Probably we could survive that thing if one or both of us, or one or both of the Hanzo had that barrier around it. Oh, let's look at a Lancelot X's strike shot. Again, he becomes a Pierce, so he can go real easily through the boss's weak point. And then he gains Null Everything, so the warps won't be an issue for him. So yeah, pretty good damage there. Okay, pretty good. And I always like to get rid of the spritzers at the top, because they have that meteor that can stun you. I don't care as much about the Gaias there at the bottom. Okay, pretty good damage. Alright, and then finally we'll use Brahma's Strike Shot. It works best in the weak point, but you can use it kind of near the weak point as well, since it's an explosion on first contact. It has a little bit of range. It wasn't long enough there to hit the boss's weak point, but still, 500,000 for off the weak point is pretty darn good. And yeah, if you do get the weak point, you can get over 2 million, I believe, so very strong there. Okay, so that was a look at a few of the new Transcendent forms. I think I have one more video to make, and then that will round out all of the reviews. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.